Welcome everybody to Tap Out Talk, WWE Speed, the Championship Tournament spoilers. You want to know who is going to take on Andrade next? I've got that right here for you, and we're going to talk about that in the final thoughts. We're going to also recap the current Championship Tournament. We will go over some rematches that happened and over the spoilers of matches that will happen. All of that very quickly, very done. WWE Speed. I'm your host, Bryan, the Hype Ballard. Let's get in. If we want to recap this tournament, the first thing we want to look at is the layout. We've got a lot of cruiserweights. We've got some technical wrestlers in Julius Creed of the Creed Brothers. We got Axiom and Joaquin Wilde in a cruiserweight type match. We got Austin Theory and Montez Ford getting to a brawl, and Javon and Ashante going at it in a showcase. So we're going to get all the way to the road to Andrade, and we're going to start with Joaquin Wilde versus Axiom. Crisscross rope action to begin the match, and we get back and forth match of both competitors gaining control, and it ends in a corner tarantula-like move on the ropes on some top rope action from Joaquin Wilde. We get some German suplexes later in the match on the apron from Axiom on Wilde. Both men are back in the ring though before the count can happen. At the end, fast forwarding to the match, we get Joaquin Wilde hitting the 450 splash for the 1, the 2, and the 3. Let's move on. We've got up next the Julius Creed of the Creed Brothers versus the Bruiserweight Pete Dunne. Keep an eye on him in this speed tournament. Both men will give a technical matchup with some hip-hugging wrestling holds, a snap German suplex off the rope for a 1 and a 2. The two are fighting on the knees at the halfway mark, just trading blows. Creed hits a superplex off the top rope for a 1 and a 2. The Bruiserweight eventually hits the bitter end for the 1, the 2, and finally the 3. With 26 seconds remaining in the matchup, Pete Dunne with the bitter end is the end of this one. Moving on ahead in the next first round match, we got Javon Evans versus Ashante the Adonis. We get a quick roll up right away out the gates for a 1 and a 2. Both some rope actions from both men, and we get the red dot rock Ashante back in the ring, and then we get out of the ring action, back into in-ring action. The clock is ticking down, and it's just not enough. We end up with the match with Javon Evans hitting a beautiful RKO out of nowhere style type cutter for the 1, the 2, and the 3. And Javon Evans advances with 27 seconds remaining. I'm seeing a little bit of a theme here in speed. It's fast, it's heavy. We then up next to Montez Ford versus Austin Theory. We get multiple pinning attempts in the very beginning. We get some roll-ups about all the way to the 1 minute mark of the matchup. Later we get cornered by Montez with a 10-punch, Ford in control until he misses a corner charge, which Theory reverses. 30 seconds left, both men are trading blows. Ford kicks out, Theory hits punches. They're rolling on the ground and brawling and punching with each other as time expires. You ever wonder what happened in a speed tournament when time expires? Both men are eliminated, and they move on to nowhere other than the exit. Because now we've got a situation where we have a draw eliminating both men in this tournament. Javon Evans automatically gets a pass into the semifinals, and he will take on the winner of Joaquin Wilde and Pete Dunne. And let's talk about that right now, because the winner of that matchup takes on Javon Evans to face Andrade, and we will get Pete Dunne getting the advancement over Joaquin Wilde in this matchup on August 22nd at noon. And then from there, in a nice technical versus speed matchup, we then are going to move on with Pete Dunne versus Javon Evans in the semifinals. We're also going to get into a spoiler of that matchup coming up right next. And with that, I want to get into the final thoughts. Again, spoiler warning. We get Javon Evans, who will take on Pete Dunne due to going at it here in the finals of this matchup, in which we will see Pete Dunne get an advancement and get his first ever WWE Speed title shot. And we'll get a big time matchup with Pete Dunne versus Andrade Almas in order for the WWE Speed Championship in a 5-minute matchup in which Only time will tell who comes out the champion in this one. Also, I want to tell you guys about Speed and their latest update with the Women's Championship Tournament. The Women's Tournament is announced to start on September 4th of 2024 this year, and we will name a first ever Women's Speed Champion. Who do you think that'll be? Leave it in the comments below, or watch this video right here at the end, and it'll give you the countdown of my top 5 picks to win the WWE Women's Championship Speed Tournament. I'm going to go ahead. Thanks again. You guys are awesome. You keep me hyped. Let's get out. I'm heading out. Have a good night.